Hi, this is the Afterlife discussion. We are going to talk about one of the main things that keeps people locked into the reincarnation trick, and that is attachments. A lot of people have attachments to several things. They have attachments to people, places, things, guilt, regret, traumas, fear, and avoidance. And we're going to talk about this. Let's start with people and love and attachment to people. You're on your deathbed, or your days before you are about to die. If you have a terminal illness or disease, or if you know it's time for you to leave the matrix, and you're days away from dying. Or again, if you are on your deathbed, you're thinking, I don't want to leave my husband, my wife, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my fiance, my child, my children, my family member, my friend. Because let's say, for example, if they believe, but you are leaving before them. They believe in this reincarnation trick, and they said that they are going to escape it after death. But I'm going before they're going, and I'm going to miss them. That's an attachment. And when you cross over into the afterlife, you're going to come right back down here because you're taking those attachment thoughts with you. And those attachment thoughts are tied to this prison planet. So you're taking a piece of the prison planet with you when you cross over to the afterlife, which is going to make you reincarnate right back to this prison planet again. If you have family members and friends who don't believe in the reincarnation trick, and you are days away from dying, or you are on your deathbed and you're thinking, I just wish I had another day or another couple of hours to try to convince them, because if I leave knowing that they don't believe in all of this, they're going to be lost. No, I don't want to leave because I need more time. I have to try to convince them somehow. You're going to take your final breath. You're going to go into the afterlife, and you're going to come back down here. Because again, you are taking your attachment to people who are in this prison planet with you to the other side. And so that's going to bring you right back to this prison planet again. If you have told time and time and time again your family members about the reincarnation trick and they don't believe, then whatever happens to them is on them. You have to go when it is your time to go. And again, I keep telling people, when you get to Paroma and you create your own realm, you can think up through thought manifestation copies of the very same people who refuse to believe here on this prison planet up there with you. It may not be the exact people, but it will be exact duplicate copies. And a copy is better than nothing at all. Because if you have told them repeatedly and they don't believe, and you are dying, it's not like, well, if I die and I get reincarnated, I'll just come back to that same life and continue to try to help them. No, you're going to go and get reincarnated into a new life. Well, you'll never see them again. And you'll never even realize that they were your family. So you are just hurting yourself. You are not helping them. You're just hurting yourself. That's what you're doing. Because all of your, I hate to leave because they didn't believe and I just need a little bit more time to stay here so that they can believe. All that's doing is it's causing you to come right back down here again to go through the same bullshit again. Now, that is attachments to people. And now I want to say also, even children. Oh, I hate to leave because I have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. Well, I will say this. If you are leaving that 4 and 5-year-old or 4 or 5-year-old, or if you're leaving that child in the company of those who do believe, yes, you are leaving before that child or those children, but you're going to see them again. Because you know that you are leaving that child or those children in the hands of people who believe just like you. Which means that when that child or when those children cross over into the afterlife as well, they're going to be up there with you, and maybe a little bit of time before they do get up there to be with you. But eventually you're going to see them up there. Now, if you are leaving that child or those children in the hands of people who don't believe, well, then you're going to just have to accept the fact that, hey, I hate that that's the case, but I have to go. You can't save anyone else. You can only save yourself and hope that others will have the knowledge or come into the knowledge of being able to save themselves. But you can't save anyone else. You can just tell them the information and hope that they will grasp it and believe in it and move on. Because you trying to actively save others is what's going to cause you to come back down here. Because you trying to save others is an attachment in and of itself. Because if you try to save others and others are not willing to allow you to save them, you are going to have on your mind as you're taking your final breath, I just wish I had more time to just try to convince them. I just wish I had more time. I need more time. I don't want to leave them because they're going to be lost. And that is the equivalent of you wishing to stay down here. So when you die, you're going to come right back down here. But you're going to come back down here not having any knowledge of the people that you wanted to save, the person that you wanted to save, because you're going to be in a brand new life. And you will be essentially stuck in an eternal reincarnation loop. So that is the attachment to loving people. To get rid of all of that, you have to detach from them. And when I say detach, I'm not saying stop loving them. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't have anything to do with them. No. While you're here on earth, go to the movies with them, go to the carnivals, have dinner with them, sleep with them, and all of that. But when it's your time to go, you're gone. You're gone. And whatever happens down here with them, that's on them. And if they have believed the information you told them about the reincarnation trick, they're going to be okay, whatever happens to them down here. If they don't believe, that's on them because you can't save them. The best that you can do is when you get to Pleroma and you create your realm, you create an exact copy of them up there. And then it will be just like you have them up there with you. That's better than nothing. That's the best you can do. Because you can't make people believe the way you want them to believe. You just have to give them that information and hope that they will believe it. You can't save other people. So with me, now all of my family members, they believe in the reincarnation trick. But if I were to go before they go, I know that, hey, I'm going to see them again. It may not be right away, but I know that they're coming because they believe exactly like I believe. If they didn't believe like I believe, and knowing that I've told them repeatedly, well, they'll learn the hard way then. I'm gone because I can't save them anymore. I'm on my way out. I can't do any more attempts in trying to save them. I'm on my way out. I have to focus on me now, later for them. And hoping that maybe somehow along the way, before too late, they will finally begin to believe. But if not, oh well. That's how you have to think when it comes to crossing over. Because if you don't, you're going to come back here again. But while I'm here, I love my family. I still love my family members when I cross over. But I realize when I am in the process of crossing over, I have to think on me and what I have to do. And that's all I'm going to think about. I can't think about how I need more time to save them or try to save them. I can't think about that because that will keep me coming back here. Are you following what I'm saying? So that is the attachment to love and attachment to love when it comes to people and all of that. Unfulfilled desires. You have people who say on their deathbed or their days away from dying, I'm not ready to die yet. There's so many things that I haven't done yet. I have this bucket list of things and I haven't done it yet. I just need more time to do these things. I feel like I haven't lived a fulfilled life. Well, number one, you haven't lived a fulfilled life no matter what you do, no matter what's on your bucket list, because you can't live a fulfilled life down here. This is a prison planet. And on a prison planet, there is no living a fulfilled life. Everything that you didn't get a chance to do down here, you can do in Pleroma. I keep telling people this. If you always wanted to have a business down here, but you never could, and you're now crossing over into the afterlife, when you get to Pleroma, you can have a business up there. If there was this guy or this girl, this man or this woman that you really always wanted to get with down here, but you never could, well, when you cross over to the afterlife and you get to Pleroma, you can do that up there. You know, I always wanted to be a doctor. I never got a chance to be a doctor. You can do that up there. Whatever desire that you have that is of a high vibrational frequency. It can't be some low vibrational toxic shit. But if it's a high vibrational frequency desire that you have, you can reach it up there. So why are you on your deathbed? Why are you days away from dying and you're thinking about, oh, I wish I had more time to do this, that, and the third. I had this bucket list of things to do and I never got the chance to do it. I wish I had more time. Okay, and he's going to give you more time because you're going to get reincarnated right back down here. And when you get reincarnated back down here, you're going to forget all about the things on your bucket list, all of the unfulfilled desires you had. So what you do is when you are on your deathbed, when you are days away from dying, excuse my language, but you're going to say, fuck the desire, unfulfilled desires. Fuck all of that. I don't give a damn what I didn't get a chance to do down here. I'll do it up there. Once I escape the reincarnation trick and go to Pleroma, where I originally came from, I'll do it there. The hell with all of that. You're letting that go. All the unfulfilled desires, the unfulfilled plans, and all, you're letting it go because you realize you can do those same things up there. And you could do it in a more freer way up there than you would ever be able to do down here. Unresolved traumas. You're on your deathbed, you're days away from dying, you're thinking about how you were raped, you were molested, you were beaten, you were a victim of physical child abuse by your family member, your guardian, your parents. And it's just staying in your mind. You're thinking about it. Instead of letting that go, because all of that was nothing but loose energy trauma that is attached to this prison planet. And you are bringing that part of the prison planet into the afterlife with you. And because you are, it's going to bring you right back down here again. So how you deal with that? I'm days away from dying. I'm on my deathbed. I was a victim of rape. I was a victim of molestation, child abuse, domestic abuse. But you know what? All of that doesn't matter now. I'm going home. And I'm not going to even think about that anymore. All I'm going to think about is leaving this matrix, escaping the reincarnation trick, and going home. So your thoughts are not on the traumas that you endured. Any trauma that you endured is not on your mind. In the days leading up to your final breath, and on the day that you take your final breath. Guilt and regret. You're on your deathbed, or you're days away from dying, and you're thinking about, oh, you know, all the bridges that I have burned with people, all of the things that I've done wrong to people, and I feel so guilty for, and I regret this, and I regret that. Guilt and regret is another form of loose energy. And so you are attaching that loose energy to you as you go into the afterlife. Loose energy that comes from the prison planet. So you're attaching a piece of that prison planet with you when you go into the afterlife, which will cause you to be like a boomerang and fling you right back down here again. You cannot go into the afterlife with any part of the prison planet on your ISB. And going into the afterlife with feelings of guilt and regret is the equivalent of going into the afterlife with a piece of the prison planet on you, on your ISB. And so you're not going to be able to escape the reincarnation trick because you have that prison planet chunk piece on your ISB. You can't escape then. It's like a cord from your ISB to the prison planet that's still attached when you go to the afterlife. So how are you going to go beyond the prison planet, beyond the matrix, beyond the reincarnation trick, when you have that cord still attached to you from the prison planet. It can't happen. So you go over and you say, all of the bridges that I've burned, all of the guilt and the regret that I had, the hell with all that. I'm going over into the afterlife new. Brand new Isby, waking up from a sleep that I have been in for so long. And I'm going to Pleroma, the KHAA, the real universe, fresh and new. Letting go of all of the guilt and regret of anything that I have done in this life. I'm letting it go, and I'm going into the afterlife, into Pleroma, new. And that's all that you have on your mind. Well, that's one of the main things you have in your mind. Then when you go over, you'll be able to escape. The last one is fear and avoidance. You can't go over with fear. I don't know how it's going to be when I go over. What if I see this? What if I experience this? What if I don't know how to get out? What if it's not really true like I think it's true? What if? Oh, I'm afraid. No, I wish I had a little bit more time to stay here because I'm too scared to go over. So basically what you're saying to Enki, Marduk, and the Archons is that you want to stay here because you're too afraid to face what's going to happen on the other side. So when you cross over into the afterlife, because you're going to die anyway, when you cross over to the afterlife, you want to come back down here because you want to come back down here because you're afraid of what's going to happen on the other side. You can't be afraid of what's going to happen on the other side because the minute your Isby comes up out of the body, that's the day, that's the time when your abilities will all come into play. So if you are attacked, you know how to defend yourself using your abilities, thought, intention. If you see, for example, one of the Archons rushing towards you to punch you in the face, well, how are you going to counteract that? Duck. Use your thought intentions to duck. Use your thought intentions to spew fire from the eyes. Yes, that's a real ability. Use your thought intention abilities to levitate. To spew fire from the hands. Yes, that's a real ability. So you defend yourself. And then you have the plan that as soon as your Isby comes up out of the body, you're gone. You're not waiting for the light to show up and the family members and all. No, as soon as your Isby leaves the body, you immediately think of Pleroma, KHAA, outside of the matrix, outside of the net grid, the frequency fence, and you're gone. You're gone. You teleport there. The second you think it up, you're there. So what's the fear? And if you're going through the void, it's nothing but pitch blackness, but this is where you have to stay calm. This is why I tell people all the time, you need to practice sitting in the dark now. And I'm not talking about just a regular dark. I'm talking about pitch black darkness. You need to practice that for 2 and 3 hours. So that way, when you get into the void and you see it's nothing but pitch blackness, you'll be used to it. Oh, that's right. I remember practicing this, many times when I was down on the prison planet. So this doesn't scare me. If you are scared of praying mantises and grasshoppers, you need to watch videos showing that. So that if you happen to see them on the other side, it will not scare you. And this way, when you are taking your final breath, well, I don't have any fear. No, I don't need any more time to stay on here. I'm ready to go. This is how I am. I could be on my deathbed tonight and I'm ready to go. I told my mother and grandmother that the other day. I said, and they were talking about, cars and houses. And I said, I don't give a damn about any of that. I could just leave tonight. And my mother understood. My grandmother was like, oh, come on, Sasha. And I'm like, no, I could go tonight because none of this matters to me. None of these material things, none of it. I could go. And I could go totally unattached from everything that is here. And I used to have some fears. One of my fears was the fear of heights. I don't have it anymore. Let me cross over to the afterlife, and and Enki and the Archons have a vision come before me where I am all of a sudden at the top of an Empire State Building. You're not going to scare me. You're not going to do that to me. Because I've gotten beyond my fears. And so when you are on your deathbed, when you are days away from dying, you have to say, no, I don't need any more time here to face my fears. I've already gotten over my fears because I've put in the spirit work to do so. This is how you all have to be, I'm telling you. And it's important to be this way because I'm telling you, this is your one and only chance to get this right. If you don't get this right this time, when you get reincarnated down here, you're not going to learn about this information any other time. This is the only generation where you're going to learn about this information. By the time that you die and you come back down here via reincarnation, this information is going to be nowhere to be found. Not online, not from people, not anywhere. So you only have this one and only time to get it right. And if you, excuse my language, you fuck up in any way, when you get to the afterlife, it's over for you. It's done. And this is why you have to take this so seriously. You have to drop these attachments, these beliefs that you have. If you are still believing in Christianity in any way, the gospel songs, the reading of the Bible, because, you want to study to show thyself approval. If you're doing any of that, if you're watching TBN network, you still have an attachment to a religion that was created for down here and that goes on down here, and you are not going to escape. Another thing too is letting go of the ego. You cannot go over into the afterlife thinking, hey, I am the shit and I'm going to be the best shit up there in Pleroma. No one's going to be better than me. You can't go over like that because egotistical feelings comes from this prison planet. So again, you're going over into the afterlife with a chunk of the prison planet still attached to your ISB, which will bring you back down here. Another thing is, if you are days away from dying, or if you are on your deathbed, detach from your identity. If you are days away from dying, that should be the time when, during those days, you should stop referring to yourself as Rebecca Donaldson, Peter Miller. You should stop referring to yourself as, hey, this is who I am. I'm a black person. I'm a white person. I'm a Irish person. I'm a Jew. If you know you are days away from dying, you have to detach away from everything that comes with the body. That's the name that you were given at birth. That's the color of your skin, your ethnicity. You then have to start referring to yourself as the body on certain things and the ISB. The body is hungry. The body is sleepy. The body is tired. The body is happy. The ISB is not tired. Who are you? I am an ISB. I am a divine spark. Days, and I would dare say weeks before you know that you are going to enter the afterlife, you have to start getting into that mindset. You really should be getting into it before then, which is what I am starting to do myself. I'm starting to do this. The ISB is starting to do this. The ISB that is within this body is starting to do this. And you should start doing this too, because if you are crossing over thinking that you are a black person, a white person, a Jew, an Irish person, you are going to be crossing over, still holding on to beliefs that comes from this prison planet. So again, you're crossing over with a chunk of the prison planet still attached to your ISB, which is going to bring you back down here. If you are crossing over thinking that you're crossing over as Rebecca Donaldson, Peter David, or whatever your name is that you were given at birth, you are crossing over with a name that comes from this prison planet, which means you're going to come back down here. When you're crossing over, you are crossing over with the mindset of, I am no longer the name I was given at birth. I am no longer black. I am no longer white. I am no longer Irish, Jewish, what have you. I am no longer a man, a woman. I am a divine spark crossing over to go home. And you have to have these thoughts in your mind. That is you shitting the identity that comes from this prison planet. So let me give you an example. When it comes time for me to cross over, as I am lying there going through the process of crossing over, I am thinking in my mind, I am a divine spark. I am a light being. I am a divine Isby. That is who I am. I have no name. I have no gender. I have no race. I am a divine, powerful spark light being, and I'm going home, and I am sovereign. And so this is what you need to have in your mind. Now, next week, I'm going to go into some of the other things you should have in your mind as you are crossing over. But you have to let go of these attachments. If you are crossing over still believing in karma, you are going to come back down here because karma is a fictionalized aspect of this prison planet. And so if you are crossing over believing in karma, you are going to be carrying over a piece of this prison planet with you, which is going to boomerang you back down here again. So you go over realizing there's no such thing as karma. I'm not going to go over and be judged by anyone because karma doesn't exist. Sin doesn't exist. You have to go over with these thoughts that lets go of all of the attachments that you have regarding this prison planet. And so this is what you need to do because so many people have crossed over and they're crossing over with religious beliefs or attachments of all kinds. And they come back down here because they are carrying a piece of the prison planet world with them, which just yanks them right back down here again. You have to let go all of that. You have to shed all of that. One example was the late, great Max Azerelloo. And if you don't know who he is, search his name. He self-immolated himself last year. And before he died, he got rid of all of his personal possessions. And people, who heard about that, a lot of them thought, oh, that's crazy. That shows that he was mentally unstable. No, he wasn't mentally unstable. He was letting go of the attachments of his personal possessions. He put all of his stuff, majority of his stuff in a box. And I think either he left it on his front doorstep or he gave it to some kind of shelter, but he gave it away because he understood that in order for him to cross over, and I have no doubt he knew about the reincarnation trick, no doubt. In order for him to really cross over and to be free, to be completely free, he had to let go of the attachments. And this is why, to be honest about it, when you go and look up footage of him burning, I've seen so many comments where people said, well, how come he's not making any sound or anything? Yes, it's about the fact that a lot of the cells die and all of that, when it gets burned off. But Max, he trained his mind and his emotional being. He trained it to be able to not focus on the burning and the fire with him doing what he did. This is how a lot of the monks did. Not every monk, but there were monks who did self-immolation, and they were able to just go through it without screaming, because they trained their mind and their emotion to be able to go through it. Now, I wouldn't want to go out that way. I mean, that's just me. I wouldn't. But that's the way he chose to go out, and he went out that way with him not having any attachments, with him, even the attachment to his body at the time of him burning. He detached his mind and his Isby from his body at the time that he was burning. This is why he didn't scream, he didn't shout, he didn't run around, he didn't panic, because he had detached himself even as he was going through the death process. And so, I use him as an example. Again, I'm not telling people to go out there and self-immolate, but this is what you have to do when you are going through the death process. You have to completely detach yourself from this prison planet and even from your body, because what is attached to your body is your name, your supposedly earthly race, your gender. All of that is attached to the earthly body. You have to detach from all of that. Detach your ISB from all of that to be able to cross over. So next week, I probably will get into more as in regards to the things that you are to think about as you're crossing over, in regards to detachment and in regards to just things that will help you to better escape from the reincarnation trick. I'm going to go into that next week, but I do want to mention one thing. One subscriber asks, how hard is it going to be to escape the reincarnation trick? I've said this many times before. It's not going to be hard. And I don't want people thinking, oh, it's going to be so hard to do. No, it's not hard. It is simple, but it's not hard. But it's not easy either. Nothing in this world that is worthwhile is ever going to be easy. If it was easy, then there wouldn't be so much of a pushback against it from Enki and Marduk and the Archons. It's not going to be easy to escape the reincarnation trick, because escaping the reincarnation trick is something that is worthwhile. But it's not hard either. It's not hard because if you know what you have to do in order to escape, you just get to the other side and you do it. As simple as that. And if you face any obstacles along the way of you trying to escape, you know exactly how to handle it, because you have trained yourself. You have taught yourself. This is what makes it simple. It's not complicated. And you have a lot of people who will make it sound, oh, it's going to be, got to do a lot of stuff. It's almost damn near impossible. They're lying to you. They're lying to you to discourage you. Well, if it's damn near impossible, I might as well just not fight it then. If it's really all that hard, I might as well not do it then. No, it is not going to be easy, but it is not hard. This is why I tell people you have to do your spirit work. If you start doing your spirit work every single day, when you get to the afterlife, you'll be prepared for whatever. This is what August did. August didn't just sit around, watch TV and eat, suck down potato chips. August was learning. He was doing, in the book, he was doing astral projection, and he was doing other things, other spiritual things to prepare himself, meditation. And this is what you have to do. If you start teaching yourself as to how to escape when you get to the other side, you do it, and that's it. So it's simple. It really is simple, but it's not going to be easy, because if it was easy, all you would have to do is just get to the other side and boom. Once you take your final breath, boom, you don't see the white light, but you don't see the family members. You don't see any of that. You're just automatically in Roma. And it could be like that, but it might not be like that. It might be that even though you're thinking of your realm as you take your final breath, you still end up in the afterlife where you see the white light, the tunnel, the fan. And then if that happens, you know exactly what to do, because you taught yourself what to do. Okay, I see all this. Let me turn away from all of this and let me think of Pleroma. And I'm telling you, whatever you think in the afterlife is immediately going to happen. So if you think it up immediately, you're teleporting there. If you think of Pleroma, the KHAA, outside, you have to say outside of the universe. And if you think it up, you're there. So it's not hard at all. It's not hard, but it's not easy. It is simple, and it's simple only if you know exactly what to do. If you know exactly what to do before, during, and after, you're going to make it. Because I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who escape the reincarnation trick. This is why you don't hear from them. What happened to all those who did escape the reincarnation trick? How come they don't come back and tell? because they're not coming back down there because they're out. And once you're out, there's no coming back in, because if you come back in, you're not getting out. There have been plenty of people who have escaped, and you can do it too. You just have to start practicing, just like a football team. A football team is not going to go out on the field knowing they didn't practice any of the plays, because if they go out on the field without practicing any of the plays that they're supposed to practice, they're supposed to learn, when they go out on the field, they're going to lose. So how do they prepare to win before they get out on that field? They learn they find out what the plays are, they learn them, they practice those plays over and over and over again. This is how you have to do when you are talking about escaping the reincarnation trick. You have to practice. Practice makes perfect. And you don't just practice one time, you have to practice every single day up until the time of the escaping of the trick. You have to practice. And if you don't practice, no, you're not going to get out. If you don't practice, yes, it is going to be hard on you. So this is what I wanted to say. I thank you all for listening. Comment among yourselves in the comment section about this. Next week, we're going to take this whole discussion to another level regarding attachments and things that you have to say to prepare to escape. So that will be coming next week. I thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And until next time.